Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared12 here bringing you another Minecraft Modern Warfare aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the FMA IA-58 Pucará. The IA-58 Pucará, which translates to Fortress, is a Argentinian ground attack and counter-insurgency aircraft manufactured by Fábrica Militar de Aviaciones. It is a low-wing twin turboprop all-metal monoplane with retractable landing gear, capable of operating from unprepared ships when operationally required. The type saw action during the Falklands War and the Syri-Lakanen Civil War. The aircraft itself was first introduced in May of 1975. It is still currently in service, with Argentinian Air Force being the main user. It is also used by the Sri Lankan Air Force and the Ugandan Air Force as well. In total, 110 of these have been built. They are no longer under production, but they are still in service. Overall, pretty interesting aircraft. It really, when you look at it, doesn't seem like much. It doesn't really seem like a ground attack aircraft or anything like that. But then you kind of dive into it deeper, and it does have some pylons and weapon loadouts. Granted, for the size of this aircraft, it really is kind of a weak capability of armaments it can contain. From my understanding, it doesn't have any guns. It is strictly just carrying munitions. So personally, I think kind of a weak aircraft, but a domestic aircraft, our first ever aircraft for our South American line, which is pretty cool. We haven't really added anything into this Modern Warfare section, so we're finally starting to fill in some of these areas with at least one aircraft. But really cool stuff. It came out really nice, and again, it's going to make an awesome addition if you're looking for some sort of Argentinian type of aircraft. Before we go and move into taking a look at this build, I do want to go ahead and give a special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more you already do, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video description, where you can go and place a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so earn a vehicle request to your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It is really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link is always in the video descriptions. With that though, let's dive in here to take a look at the Pucará. So, getting started with, we do have a landed in-flight version available for you guys in this tutorial. We'll take a look at the in-flight version because it's a little bit easier to kind of see everything we have going on here. But we do have it in a kind of gray and green color scheme. This color scheme may or may not be still in use, from my knowledge. It does seem like they are either just a full gray or they have this kind of color scheme mix. I personally like the color scheme. I think that two-tone, green and gray kind of really reminds me of the Falklands camo schemes the British had. But really nice design, I think, and just overall kind of adds a lot more detail to a otherwise pretty plain aircraft. So we do have the camouflage on this. As you can see, we have our two twin turboprops on both sides, one on each wing, obviously. For the loadout, we do have some bombs, so just some dummy bombs mounted on the bottom there. Unguided, nothing like that. Pretty simple, standard bombs, nothing crazy. Then we also have these rocket pods on the side here. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they are or what they actually hold, but they do seem to be some sort of like missile tube or something like that on the wings, and it looks like they have 4 in total, at least from some of the loadouts I was able to find, and that's what we went ahead and went with here for this. So that's your loadout you do have on the aircraft. Going back, we have the cockpit located right here in this section. Further back from that, we have the tail leading up to our vertical stabilizer. Of course, we have the roundel there for the Argentinian Air Force, and that's pretty much the aircraft. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. As I mentioned before, pretty plain. We also have in this tutorial a landed version available, so if you do want to have this aircraft landed at your airbase or museum or whatever you guys are doing with this aircraft, you do have a landed version available for you as well. This also could probably be used in like a civilian airport or something. It definitely looks like a civilian type aircraft. So that's just another fun thing you can go ahead and do with it. So anyways though, that's it for this overview. Let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we'll be going ahead and starting off with layers 1 and 2. Now we'll be starting with these layers here, and we'll be doing them together. Layer 1's pretty much just adding some munitions on, so layer 2 is going to kind of be the main beef of this layer, which is going to build up a good section of the aircraft and kind of help for planning out our future layers. In addition, if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on camera, half off. What this means is I'm going to be building the center line of the aircraft and then the right side. It'll be up to you guys to take the right side and copy it over to the left side in between layers. It's pretty straightforward, and the design really isn't too difficult to do and to copy over. If you have any questions, obviously the comments are there to address that. Yeah, that right there is basically how we do these tutorials, and it'll make a little bit more sense as we progress for the future layers. In addition, if you do want to build the landed version, we will be doing the landing gear at the end of the video as a modification to the in-flight version. So make sure that if you do want to build it landed, you can build this the correct height off the ground. Now, layer 2 here is going to be where these iron trapdoors and polished diorite top slabs are. We'll be going ahead and make sure that this is a total of this is 3 blocks. You're going to want to build a pillar 3 blocks up, and then you're going to go ahead and basically build off of this with your iron trapdoors and your top slabs. Now again, just a reminder, this is for the landed version. If you're building this in flight, obviously just make sure you're not going to run into the height ceiling or anything like that. But with that all squared away, one last thing is we will be building the aircraft completely in a gray color scheme, so using stone. And we'll be talking about the camouflage at the end, but just building it one color kind of makes the tutorial a little bit easier to kind of get through. So we're not switching blocks and all that stuff. But again, we will be talking about the camouflage a little bit later. So if you do want to add that camouflage, just stay tuned to the end of the video. However, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place down a row of 2 of iron trapdoors. Now you want to make sure these iron trapdoors are on this top side of the block, not on the top like that, but you want it to be kind of like to the side there, like so. That's going to be coming off the side here. We're going to go ahead and then build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 polished diorite top slabs back, followed by 3 diorite walls, and then a white stained glass pane here on the end. After that white stained glass pane, we're just going to go ahead and very simply place down an iron trap door. With that done, we're going to go ahead and then start working our way out to the sides here. We're going to go ahead and place down a iron trap door that's going to come off the side of this top slab here. So this is the 4th top slab back from the front. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 iron trapdoors back from that. We're going to then go to our 4th iron trapdoor here. We're going to place down 1 to the side, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back. Then we want to go ahead and go to the side here again. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 iron trapdoors this time. After that, we're going to then go to our last iron trapdoor here. We're going to place down 1 coming off the side of it, then 1 more forward. Coming off this iron trapdoor here, we're going to place down a diorite top slab, and then we're going to place down a iron trapdoor there. Now, right here is kind of going to be a difference. It's going to depend on what version of Minecraft you're on. So, if you are not on Java, so for all my Bedrock and Pocket Edition players, you'll be going ahead and placing down a row of 3 of polished diorite. If you are on Java, however, we will be going ahead and doing a different design here, which will be a row of 3 of upside down pistons, like so. And do make sure that you have access to the debug stick here. This is basically by enabling commands, so you want to make sure you have commands enabled to be able to use this debug stick here. But that is going to be if you're going to be going and doing the piston method. Again, the alternative is 3 diorite full blocks. To the side of these blocks, we're going to place down 3 skeleton skulls on both sides. Once we have that done, we're going to place down another 2 iron trapdoors coming off this top slab here, and then 1 back from that. We then want to go and place down 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5 going forward, and we're going to go and repeat the same row 2 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have a total of 3 rows of 5 like that up to the side there. At this point, we're going to go then take our diorite walls, and we want to place down a row of 1, 2, 3 diorite walls back, and then we're going to go and grab a white stained glass pane again, and we're going to place down a white stained glass pane coming off this last wall. Behind that glass pane, we're going to place down an iron trap door. Now, at this point, we have our pylon set up, and we're going to go ahead and basically add in our rocket pods to the outer portion of the wing here. Now again, you can modify this, you can do whatever kind of loadout you want on the aircraft. This is just kind of based off of an actual loadout that there are pictures and references for. So again, you can change this up and do whatever you really want, but we'll be going ahead and doing this based off a real life example. We're going to go off the side here of these 4 blocks. We're going to place down 4 quartz slabs. Now these are going to be smooth quartz as well. We then want to place down an item frame on both ends, and then we're going to place down a red concrete block in each item frame. Now, if you're on Java, we'll also place down a birchwood sign on the side of the slabs with the item frames, like that to kind of clean that look up a little bit better. Again, that feature will only be available for Java players. If you're not on Java, just go ahead and use the item frame in the red concrete block and disregard the signs. And then for all versions, we'll go ahead and just place down a row of 4 birchwood signs along the side here. We're going to go to the bottom here of these walls and glass pane. We're going to place down top slabs. We're going to place down an item frame here on the front end, on the back, our red concrete. In those item frames, again, same thing here for Java players. And then again, for all versions, we're going to go and take our birchwood signs, and we're just going to place them here along the sides. Just like so, and same thing over here. Just like that. And once you have that done, that's going to be your outer pylons done, and that's your outer armament. Now, going ahead and moving to the inside here, or actually real quick before we do, these engines, one quick thing I want to add on to these is we're going to place down an item frame on the side of this block, whichever block you have placed here. We're going to go ahead and place down a black bed in the item frame, rotate so that pillow is facing toward the outside. So on this side here, it's going to face out that way. On that side there, it's going to face out that way. Then we're just going to place down a birchwood sign again on the side of that block, if you're, depending on what version you're on. So again, Java players will do that. Bedrock and Pocket Edition, just go ahead and place down the item frame. Now, the next thing we have to do here is we're going to do this bomb rack. What we're going to do here is we're going to place down an iron trap door on the bottom of this wall, or these 3 walls and this glass pane. Then we're going to place down 1 more out to both sides. So 1 back here and 1 like that, so you should have a total of 6 there. We want to go ahead and start off by going ahead and go to our first 2 slabs. We're going to place down, or the first 2 trapdoors, we're going to place down 2 of these dark prismarine blocks, then a zombie head on both ends, and then we're going to take our dark oak wood signs, and on the outer side here of the slabs, we're going to place down dark oak wood signs. We're going to do the same thing back here on these last 2 iron trapdoors, so same thing, zombie heads again on both ends, and our dark oak wood signs like that across. And that right there is all you need to go ahead and make your bombs there on the bottom of the aircraft. And that right there is basically it for layers 1 and 2. You'll take the same design we did on the right side over to the left side, and this is what you should have for an overview with that layer complete. Anyways, again, that is it for layers 1 through 2. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer. Make sure to take everything we did on the right side, flip it over to the left side before continuing on. Anyways, let's move on to layer 3. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer 3. Just a reminder, again, we will be going ahead and doing this all in stone color, so we will not be doing the camouflage until the very end. So just again, keep that in mind for building this build. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this layer. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to place down a stone block on top of this iron trapdoor here in the front, followed by a skeleton skull coming off of it. We're going to go ahead and go back from the stone block, a total of stone full blocks, going back a total of 12. So you have 12 blocks in total. We then want to place down 2 polished diorite full blocks, then 2 pistons. They're going to be upside down. Now, an alternative here to the pistons would be a polished diorite full block and a polished diorite top slab instead. But again, since we're on Java, we'll place down our 2 pistons. We're going to place down there a polished diorite top slab, a polished diorite upside down stair, and then an iron trapdoor after that. Once we have that done, going back up to the front here, we're going to place down 1 and 2 light gray stainless panes coming off the side of these 2nd and 3rd stone blocks from the front. We're going to go then place down 2 inside walls, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stone blocks back, a stone stair like this, and an air stair coming off it. So you have a corner stair and then a normal stair like that, followed by will be 1 and 2 skeleton skulls going back. Once we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down 1 and 2 daylight detectors, turn these to night mode, and we then want to go ahead and place down a total of 1 and 2 stone slabs, an air row of 2, then 2 daylight detectors again, turn those to night mode, and then 2 iron trapdoors, and then 1 right there on top of that 1. We then want to go ahead and continue on with stone stairs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 stone stairs like that going back, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 light gray stainless panes going back from those walls. We're going to go ahead and then take our stone blocks. We're going to place down a stone block on the back of the stair. We're going to go back 1, 2, and 3 blocks. And then out to the side here, we're going to do the same thing with that we did before on the inside. So 3 stone stairs and then 2 light gray stainless panes. In the center space right there, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a dispenser. We're going to place down a dispenser there, like so. So you have the hole facing toward the rear. And we then want to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair coming off the front here, like so. On the sides of that upside down stair, we're going to place down a skeleton skull like that on both sides. Once we have that all done there, we're going to go and take our daylight detectors. We're going to place down 1 and 2, turn these to night mode. After that, we're going to place down 2 stone slabs, then another set of 2 directly after those. We're going to follow this up with 2 daylight detectors, turn those to night mode, and then again 2 iron trapdoors after that. Once we have that done, we're going to place again 1, 2, 3, and 4 stone slabs, and then a daylight detector again. We're going to turn to the night mode. After that, we're going to place down a stone slab here in the front, then 1 and 2, stone stairs back, and then 2 stone slabs back after that. Once we have that all finished there, we want to go ahead and then grab our polished diorite stairs. We're going to place down 2 stairs coming off the back of these 2 stone stairs, 1 top slab going forward, and then 1 going back like that. We then want to place down a total of 4 rows of 4 going out to the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of our polished diorite. Once you have that all done, go ahead and take a look at it from above. This is what we should have for the top-down view with that layer complete, or for the most part complete. We do have something to add up here on the front that is going to be on both sides here of the forward fuselage. We're going to go ahead and grab some item frames for this. We're going to grab some cyan concrete and also some yellow beds. Now we're going to place down item frames on the side here of these glass panes. In this first one, we're going to place down a cyan concrete block, and then our second item frame, we're going to go ahead and, actually my bad, we're going to shift this back one more. So you have an item frame on this second glass pane and on this first andesite wall. This first item frame will be a cyan concrete block, and this second one here will be a yellow bed, which we want to rotate so that it's facing kind of diagonal, pointing backwards like so, and we want the white going back like that. So it's going to be like this on this side and like this on the other side. Lastly, again, for Java players, we'll go ahead and take our birchwood signs and we're just going to place them on the side here of these blocks, just like that. And with that all complete there, that's going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 3. Again, taking a look at it from above, this is what it looks like from the top-down view. With that though, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to go and begin with place down a stone slab on top of this stone block right here. Going back from that, we're going to place down a piston. It's going to be like this. Instead of the piston, again, you can place down a stone stair like this as an alternative to that piston. After that, we're going to place down a stone full block. And then right here, you can either leave space for a cockpit, or if you rather not, if you're going to be like me and not build a cockpit, we're going to be going ahead and just filling this in with a row of 5 of black concrete. Again, if you want to do a cockpit, you can leave the space open, try to build an interior. If not, then you can go ahead and close this off completely with a row of 5 of black concrete. After that though, we're going to go and continue on for stone full blocks. We're going to place down a row of stone. That's going to be going back a total of 11 blocks. And on top of that iron trapdoor, we're going to go then place down 2 polished diorite full blocks back. Then we're going to follow this up with 2 pistons. Again, instead of these 2 pistons, you can place down a polished diorite full block again, and then a polished diorite top slab instead as an alternative. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished diorite upside down stair, a polished diorite top slab, and then an iron trapdoor there on the very end, so it should look like this here on the back. Once we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and continue on to these sides here. We're going to place down a skeleton skull on the side here of this piston, followed by a light gray stainless pane, 2 andesite walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stone blocks back, just like that. We then want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 andesite walls back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light gray stainless panes, and then we're going to place down a skeleton skull on both sides here of this piston. After that is done there, we can then go ahead and move out to our wings. For our wings here, we're going to take our stone blocks, we're going to place down 1 and 2, so 1 on top of the stair, 1 on top, 1 right behind it, and then we're going to place down 2 light gray stainless panes to the sides there of those blocks. After that, we're going to go then place down a diorite wall going forward. Then we want to place down a black circle box coming off this wall like that. This could also be replaced instead of the circle box with a black concrete block as well, if you are having problems with your wall connecting to the circle box. So you can also just use black concrete. And then we're going to place down wither skeleton skull coming off the black concrete going forward. Now, once we have that all done there, we're going to go back from these stone blocks here. We're going to go ahead and grab pistons again. Instead of pistons, you can also use a stone stair. So a stone stair like this, and then a stone slab coming off of it as an alternative. For us, though, we're going to place down 2 pistons. And we're going to go then place down a daylight detector. Turn this to the night mode, so that light gray design, and then an iron trapdoor on top of this dispenser. And then to the sides here of the pistons, we just want to go in very simply, take our skeleton skulls, and we're going to place down 1, 2, and 1, 2, like that to both sides. After that is all done there, we're going to go then grab our light gray carpet. We're going to place down a row of 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4 light gray carpet on the outside here. 1 here, blue carpet, or sorry, light blue carpet. Then the rest of this is just going to be our light gray carpets, like this on the tip there of the wing. And once we have that all done there, the last thing here for us to do is to go ahead and grab some item frames, and we're going to go ahead and go to the side here of this first stone block. We're going to just go ahead and skip a space, the third stone block back. We're going to place down item frames, and we then want to go ahead and place down a red concrete block in those item frames, rotate it so it's like that on both sides, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood sign on the side there of those blocks, like that. And once you have that all done there, that is going to basically wrap up everything we have there for this layer. A few things I do want to mention for Java players is at this point in time we can go ahead and use our debug stick. To get your debug stick, you can very simply type in this command you can see here, /give @p minecraft:/debug_stick, and by pressing enter will give you this glowing stick here. Now what we can do here is we can go up to our pistons, we can left click our piston until we get to prompt selected extended false pop-up on our screen. By right clicking we can actually get rid of that wood portion on the pistons, and what it does is it helps us kind of get that slightly shorter block, which really helps with our sloping and our structuring here of the aircraft. So we'll just go ahead and find all of our pistons. We'll do the same thing here on the back for these ones right here, and these ones right here we're not going to touch just yet because there is a problem. You got to make sure that you don't mess with these pistons too much, because if you do activate them or use your debug stick on them and you do place a block on top of them or around them, they will revert back. So we're going to leave those alone for right now. But with that all done, that right there is going to conclude everything there is for layer 4, and with that we're moving on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 5. For layer 5, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down an air brick stair on top of this first black concrete block. So right after that first stone block there from the previous layer, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 4 black stained glass panes going back from that stair. We then want to take our stone blocks. We're going to place down a row of stone blocks. This row right here is going to go back a total of 17 blocks, and it should end on top of this direct top slab here on the very end. Then we're just going to place down a stone stair on this iron trapdoor here to make the very end there of the tail. At this point in time, again, Java players, we can go ahead and then take our pistons here, use our debug stick on them like that to finish the sloping there for our rear empennage there of the aircraft. With that done, we're going to go ahead and start working our way out to the sides here. We're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the side of this nether brick stair, a light gray stainless pane like that, then a total of 3 nether brick walls back. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 andesite walls back, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 light gray stainless panes back after that. Once we have that all done right there, that is going to basically be it for this layer. And at this point in time, really all we have left to do here is going to be that little Argentinian Air Force logo on the side there. So we will be going ahead and making that right now. So I'm going to go and grab the materials and I'll show you guys how to make that banner. Alright guys, so moving into making these banners, they're pretty simple to make. We're just going to need 2 white banners, 4 light blue dye, and 6 white dye. We're going to start off by going into our Luma for white banners and our light blue dye. We're going to go ahead and for each of these 2 banners, we're going to go and do this light blue border that's going to go around both banners like that. So we have 2 of these banners. We're going to remove our light gray dye and put our white dye back in. We're going to place down our banners back in like so, and we want to go ahead and then take our white dye and we're going to go and split the banners in half. So one banner is going to have the white on the left side, the other banner is going to have it on the right side. So it's going to look like this here for both banners, or for both these designs. We then want to go ahead and place down our blue dye back in with our first banner like this, and we're going to go ahead and do the line that's going to be vertically on the right side. So since our light blue is on the left side, we're going to go do the line vertically on the right side. So it's going to look like that. And then our other banner here, we're going to go ahead and do basically the opposite. So our blue already on the banner is on the right side, so we're going to go and do the left side. So it looks like that. We're going to go ahead and grab both those banners, place them back into our loom with our white dye. For this one, since we have our blue line on the right side, we're going to go and do the top or the bottom right hand corner and then the top right hand corner. So you get a design that looks like this. We're going to go do the same thing here for this banner. So we're going to go ahead and, since our blue line, our solid blue line's on the left side, we're going to go do the bottom left hand corner and the top left hand corner to create these 2 banners. By taking these banners, you can go ahead and then go to the 3rd and 4th light gray stainless pane from the front, and you're going to place down your 2 banners like so that they face each other like that to create that Argentinian roundel on the side there of the fuselage. And that right there is pretty much all we really have to cover there for layer number 5 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 6. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to begin with by placing down a daylight detector, turn that to the night mode on top of this glass full block here, followed by a nether brick slab. We're going to go ahead and place down 3 pistons back like so. Instead of the pistons, you can go ahead and instead use, this is kind of tough because the stained glass would stick up, or using full blocks would stick up a little high, but unfortunately that's probably what you're going to have to do. Using basically 2 black stained glass full blocks and then a stair after it, or not a stair, but rather a stone full block. You can also go ahead and instead doing that, you could also use just slabs. So 2 narrow brick slabs here and a stone slab. You have to kind of pick whatever one looks the best in your eyes. But unfortunately, just with the shaping and all that stuff, the pistons here are definitely going to be your best option. Anyways, though, after that, we're going to place down a row of 3 of stone slabs, then our 3 daylight detectors. We're going to go ahead and then skip a space back. We're going to go ahead and place down a barrier block. Now, a barrier block can be achieved by very simply by typing in, well, I didn't type in the command, but it would be to type /give at P, and then it'll be, you can type in barrier, and it should autofill, and you should be able to have this command right here. So /give at Minecraft, at P Minecraft : barrier. And that gives you this barrier block here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place down one here on top of this stone block here, and then after that we're going to go and place down a second barrier block. So you have 2 right here. We're going to go then skip another space, place down an iron trapdoor, a daylight detector turned to night mode, a stone slab, and then we're going to place down 3 stone full blocks in that and a side wall. Now on the side here of the barrier blocks, we're going to place down a stone button on both sides of the first one, and the second one we're just going to place down a stone button on top of that. Going back up to the front on the sides of these first 2 pistons here, we're going to place down wither skeleton skulls where the cockpit canopy is, and then a skeleton skull here where this canopy ends. We're going to go then take our debug sticks and just go ahead and right click those pistons to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion, and that right there will finish the front shaping there for the aircraft. That right there is going to wrap up everything there is there for layer number 6, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our last final layers. Moving into our last final layers, we have layers 7 through 11. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and going to the second stone block here. We're going to go ahead and go up from this with 1 more stone block. So you have 1 block up, and then we're going to place down 2 more back, so you have a row of 3 of stone blocks. We're going to go then go up from this first block here, and the inside wall, then a blue or light blue concrete block back, then a stone block, and then a light gray stained glass pane. We're going to go up from the inside wall with a glass pane. That's a light gray. Then 2 stone blocks back, and then a andesite wall on the end there. Going up from the stone block here, we're going to place down 1 more stone block up, then 2 more back from that. And then on top of this front stone block, we're just going to place down a flower pot. Now, after you have that done, we're going to go ahead and do our basically kind of antenna or wire that runs from the fuselage here up. So we're going to go ahead and go off this stone button here with a barrier block. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone button on both sides of that barrier block like so. We're going to go ahead and go up from this barrier block at an angle, place down another barrier block, and then 1 back from that one. On this first barrier block here, stone button on both sides, and then a stone button on top of the second one like so. We're going to then go off this stone button with 2 more barrier blocks. Again, same thing, stone buttons on both sides of the first one, and then stone button on the top here of this last one. Then we're going to go up 1 more barrier block, and then we're going to place down a stone button on both sides of that very top barrier block like so. The last thing here for us to do is to go ahead and then take our daylight detectors and our iron trapdoors and redo the horizontal stabilizers. Come off this first stone block, we're going to place down 2 daylight detectors out to the side here, turn those to night mode. Our next row back is going to be a row of 5 of daylight detectors. Again, these will all be turned to that night mode. And then we want to take our iron trapdoors, and we're going to do the same thing here, a row of 5 of iron trapdoors. Now underneath those iron trapdoors and daylight detectors, we're going to go ahead and very simply just place down iron trapdoors all on the bottom here. So again, real simple and straightforward. Also, we want to go ahead and then grab a birchwood button, and we're going to place down a birchwood button on the sides here of that light blue concrete block like that. And once we have that all done right there, that's going to pretty much wrap up what we have there for the tail and for layers 6 through 7, and we're going to go ahead and now transition over into our propellers. Alright guys, so moving into the propellers. The propellers here are pretty simple to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and start off by going off this block here, and we're just going to go ahead and build 4 blocks out to the side. We're going to delete the first 3, and then coming off this block here, we're going to place down a line here of wither skeleton skulls. So we're going to place down a line like that going across. After that's done, we then want to go ahead and go basically up at an angle here from this block. So we're going to go up and toward the fuselage, 1, and then 2, just like that. And I believe on the top there is, nope, it's only 2, going like that. So that right there is done. Now going down from this, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone wall. We're going to place down a block that kind of comes off of it out to an angle. A wither skeleton skull coming off the side of that block, and then a block coming down from this wither skeleton skull, and then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the side here, like that. Now we're going to then delete those 2 blocks, and with that, you pretty much have your propellers done. You'll very simply just go ahead and take the same thing over to the other side. I'm going to go and do this a little bit quicker. But yeah, it's the same thing here on both sides. You can go ahead and have them face the same direction, have them look the same on both sides, or be kind of reflected like I have here. I like my propellers to kind of have a little bit more of a reflected type look, so it's kind of like a mirror is looking across there, so you can see that that straight part is facing out to the sides there on both sides. Really doesn't matter, but I just kind of prefer that aesthetic a little bit more. You know, it's just kind of, again, up to you guys on how you want to structure it. But yeah, that right there is it for the propellers, and let's go ahead and move into the landing gear. Alright guys, so go ahead and move into our landing gear. Again, if you are wanting to build if you're just building the in-flight version, you just want to skip ahead to the camouflage section, you can go ahead and very easily do so by going ahead and taking a look at the chapters, timestamps in the video description, or the time encoder bar is also split into the sections, so you can go ahead and just skim ahead to wherever you need to go. But anyways, though, for those of you that do want the landing gear, let's go ahead and talk about it. So to get started with, we're going to be going ahead and doing our front gear. We're going to go ahead and go to this section here, and we're going to go ahead and break these two polished iron top slabs. We're also going to go ahead and break these two stone full blocks. Now, once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a quartz upside down stair underneath that piston there, and then we're going to place down a smooth quartz top slab directly behind it. We're going to go down from this stair, 1 and 2 birchwood fence posts, and then a block of coal here on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and then place down a birchwood fence gate on the back here of this fence post, like that, and we're going to go ahead and then grab a skeleton skull and place down a skeleton skull on the side of this fence post going up like that. Now once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and grab our birchwood signs. We're going to place down a sign here on the side of this iron trapdoor and a sign on the side of this birchwood fence post. So like that on both sides here. Now what you do next is again depend on your version. So if you are not on Java, you can go ahead and use birchwood trapdoors, place them on the side of the skeleton skull and close them so that they face downwards. For us though, on Java, we'll use our iron trapdoors. You will need to go ahead and grab your debug stick here again. So very simply, just go ahead and type in the command, grab your debug stick, and just go ahead and left click until you get selected open false. By right clicking it, you can set it open to true, and it will sit flat against the side there. So we're just going to do the same thing here on both sides using our debug stick like that. Again, birchwood trapdoor can be substituted in to serve the same purpose. With that all done, that's it for our main gear, and the last thing to do here is to go ahead and very simply just take a light gray banner. Now this banner here, I'm not going to show you guys how to make an loom because it's really only 2 steps. It's a light gray banner with a black border and a black horizontal line for the center. Again, really straightforward. I don't think I need to spend time going into a loom and showing you guys how to make that, so this will just go on both sides. Once you have that complete, on that block of coal to kind of give a little more detail there to the wheel. Obviously, you can go ahead and just throw a stone button on the sides there if you want to just call that good. That's also an option available to you guys. Anyways, though, that right there is going to complete our front gear. Let's move on to our rear. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our rear gear. Again, pretty simple and straightforward design here. We're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and breaking these skeleton skulls, and we're going to go ahead and also remove these 2 pistons here, or these 2 full blocks, whichever you have. So you have this space that's opened up like so. Now to the sides here, we're going to place down 2 polished diorite upside down stairs. They're going to be like this, so it kind of shows like the doors are open. We then want to place down a birchwood fence gate in this spot. We're going to open it toward the piston there, so forward. We're going to go then place down the inside wall right here, and then a birchwood fence post coming down from the wall. On the bottom of that fence post, we're going to place down a polished diorite top slab, followed by a block of coal to both sides like that. And again, on the sides of the block of coal, we'll take our light gray banner design or stone buttons, whichever you prefer, and place them on both sides. We then want to place down a birchwood fence gate coming off this fence post here, and we're going to open this fence gate up toward that fence post like so to go ahead and make your rear gear. You can also take your debug stick and reset your piston there because it will revert back if you do have the pistons placed there. Anyways, though, that is it for the rear landing gear. Take the same thing, copy it over to the air side, and you'll have your landing gear done there for the rear. Anyways, though, that right there is going to basically conclude that. One thing also, again, for Java players too, is that this piston here for the front landing gear will get reset as well. We're placing that stair, so just make sure that you take that into account and adjust that accordingly. Anyways, though, that is going to do it, everything we have there for the landing gear, and we'll cover our last point of the tutorial, which will be the camouflage. Alright guys, so when it comes to the camouflage here, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to kind of structure this like I've done for some of my other tutorials with camouflaged aircraft. And basically what this really entails is kind of going over my process and how I went ahead and did it. Now, we're not going to touch the bottom of the aircraft. Basically anything that you built in the tutorial that is not stone, you're not going to touch. So anything that is stone materials, the light gray glass panes, any of that light gray color is going to be areas where you can put this camouflage in. So basically only on the top side of the aircraft. So what we have here is basically kind of based off of some schemes or pictures and stuff like that I was able to use and kind of referenced it. Now, realistically, these aircraft would have a different basically scheme on both sides for me because I'm lazy, I guess. I just went ahead and did the same thing on both sides. Really, it doesn't matter too much, but again, that's a decision for you to decide on. Now, what I did here is I used a mixture of green terracotta, green stained glass panes, zombie heads, some of the dark prismarine stairs and slabs, and basically mossy cobblestone walls, and I think that's really about it. But basically just kind of worked it into the aircraft. So have a little bit of green on the front here, a little bit of green section right here, and it kind of flows up the fuselage kind of like that. And you can see here, same thing over here on the engines, on the wings, and you can see we're just kind of throwed it in there, kind of not doing it randomly, but we just kind of have like these big kind of stripes, so kind of like a candy cane type design kind of wrapping around the aircraft, and that's really all it entails. I'll kind of give you a few different angles here, so if you really just want to replicate what I did here, you're free to kind of do so. But it's really straightforward. It's really nothing too complex. Again, both sides are the same here for this version we have in front of us, and you'll just do the same thing on both sides. I do encourage to look at pictures of the real life counterparts and try to replicate the camouflage off of that. And this isn't the only color scheme that is out there for this aircraft, so definitely feel free to do some research and definitely try to build your own and see what you guys can come up with. You have the base aircraft built. But anyways, that's really it about talking about the camouflage, and with that, that's going to wrap up my tutorial here for the FMA IA-58 Pucará. Hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This would be the thing from a sign on the build link to my channel or its video if this does appear on social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to for a project you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun, and all that fun stuff. We get a big source links to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible, and as always, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video description, where you can get a vehicle request of your own built on the channel. So definitely feel free to check that out and all that. Anyways, though, that's going to do it for this tutorial. Thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your 204, and I'll see you guys next time.